Hey, this is Greg, and welcome back to another edition of 5-Minute Fridays, where I try to tackle one question in as close as I can to 5 minutes. And today we're taking on the topic of this left menu in Canva and a nice little organizational trick that can actually save you a lot of time and headaches. And the reason why I'm covering this topic is because a lot of people don't know this exists. They don't understand that this is something you can do in Canva. So let's talk about this left menu, how it's set up, and how it works as you open new folders, new apps in Canva. What happens with this left menu? So if I go over to this left menu now, we can see that there are actually a lot of items in this menu, and I actually have to scroll down a fair bit to get to the bottom of this menu. And here's my starred items down here, and then I have all these other apps and folders, other things I've used in Canva. And so then if I want to get back to those main tabs, the ones I'm going to use the most often, the design tab, the text tab, the elements tab, I have to scroll back up, and it becomes a bit cumbersome. And I actually have seen people that have actually way more things open than I have open right now, and so they really have to do a lot of scrolling, and it's just something that's going to end up wasting you time. So this isn't a huge thing, but there is a way to fix this. I'm going to show you how to fix this. I'm going to give you my best practices for handling this left menu in Canva, because you actually can organize it. And I suggest you do something called zeroing out this menu, and I'm going to tell you what I mean. So let's get into it. So what happens here in Canva is that if we look at the top items, design, elements, text, brand, uploads, draw, projects, apps, then we see a line below these items. So these are the main fixed items in Canva. Now, sometimes Canva may update the interface, but as of right now, these are the items you're always going to see in Canva. However, everything below this line are items that I can potentially remove and get rid of. Because what happens is you open a new folder, you open a new app, it puts it in this left menu. So let's just give an example of that now. So if I were to come under my projects tab here, and I'm going to look for a folder. So let's say I go under my folders, and let's say I'm going to go into this favorite AI art folder. I'm just going to go into that. And so I'm looking inside this folder. Now suddenly I can see at the bottom, it has added that folder to my left menu. So if I start going through some different folders, now here's a YouTube one here. If I come into this, suddenly that gets added to the menu. So this menu just grows and grows. And the same thing happens if I open an app in Canva. Of course, to get back to apps now, I have to scroll up. I have to look for it. Where is it? It just becomes a little bit cumbersome. But again, if I come into apps and let's say I wanted to open, let's just say the Sound Draw app, something I don't think I've opened before, I go ahead and click open. Then suddenly there it is at the bottom here. So again, this is just going to add to this left menu, and the left menu becomes a bit cumbersome. However, everything below this line here, below the apps item, you can get rid of. So if you're working on a desktop and you just click on something, you're going to see this X icon. So here's bulk create, but if I don't want to see that, I can remove it from the menu. Here's translate, I can remove it from the menu. I can go down to those ones I just added, click on Sound Draw here, I can remove it from the menu. I can remove YouTube from the menu. So if you just click on it or you just hover over it for a second, a lot of times hovering over it, you can get rid of it. Now this starred one here, if I want to get rid of that, I can get rid of that. So again, it just can save you a lot of time by cleaning up this left menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of all of these items below the apps tab here. I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to X these out. And if you X out one, then the other ones are going to show an X. And you can very quickly come in here and just clean this up. So now I'm down to this base level, which just makes it a lot easier because now I know like very quickly I can come over here and get to what I want. Now, it is helpful when you're working on a specific project, if you have an app you're going to use on that project a lot, or a folder you're going to use on that project a lot. So for example, let's go under projects tab here. Let's say that I was using this Adobe stock folder here. I could open it up, and now very quickly I can always access that while I'm working on this project because it's right here. But then my recommendation to you is when you finish that project, you're not going to be using this folder anytime soon. Go ahead and exit out. And I just call this zeroing out the menu. That zeroing out is just a term I'm borrowing from the photography world. A lot of photographers like to zero out their camera after a particular photo shoot because when they come back the next day, the lighting conditions are different. They want to know where their camera settings are. They don't want to have to remember where they had them set the previous day. They want to zero them out, bring them back to some baseline level they're familiar with so they can start from an easy place. And so that's the same idea here in Canva when we zero out this menu. Let's just reset it to the base choices. I know this might seem like a little thing, but I promise you, if you adopt this practice over time, it's going to save you the annoyance of this list getting too long. Because if you visit a lot of folders, if you use a lot of different apps, then suddenly this is going to become cumbersome and you're going to waste time just trying to get back to the top of this menu. Save yourself that hassle and just adopt a strategy. Now, if you happen to be working on mobile, of course, this menu is on the bottom, and there's not an easy way to get rid of folders. Now, if you have an app, you can click on the app. You can find your way to the three dots here, and you can remove from your apps. So you can get rid of apps this way, but you can't really clean up folders. So I do recommend that you do this cleanup on desktop, and that's just gonna, again, save you this headache. So again, this is cleaning up the left menu here in Canva. Make sure you adopt this strategy and you will just save yourself a little bit of time and definitely some headaches. Hey, this is Greg. Thanks so much for watching. If you like content like this, you can subscribe to this channel. And if you like these 5-Minute Fridays, let me know in the comments below. Let me know a topic you might like to see on a future 5-Minute Friday. And if you want to receive tips and information related to Canva graphic design and entrepreneurship right in your inbox, then you can sign up below for my email newsletter. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you soon.